I didn't enjoy playing the Silent Hill 2 remake. It was deeply uncomfortable. I struggled through it, and I wanted to quit more than once. And I'm convinced that that experience is exactly what the developers of this game intended. Because this isn't just a video game. It's art. And I genuinely believe that it's as close to gaming perfection as you can get. I'm relatively new to horror gaming, and this is the first Silent Hill game I've ever played, and I quickly realized that Silent Hill does horror very differently. The horror of this game doesn't come from lack of resources or jump scares. Instead, the game accomplishes this with atmosphere. Music, lighting, character design, and sound effects are what make this game chilling. Now, that doesn't mean that resource management and jump scares aren't a part of the game, but it isn't the main driver for building suspense. When I played the original Resident Evil, I was afraid of dying because of the lack of save points and the significant recycling of content if I bit the dust. But while playing through this game, I was afraid of what I was going to find next. The music will suddenly cut as you leave a claustrophobic apartment and step outside for the first time. Man, that siren's so loud, it's gotta stop. Oh, we're out! Oh, and we're not in the Upside Down anymore. And it makes you feel like you've escaped this death trap. The fog makes Silent Hill feel full of mystery. Every corner of each house has broken furniture, garbage, abandoned cars, which makes this city feel real, like it was once lived in and now it's abandoned. These design choices make Silent Hill feel like a real place, and the atmosphere is so believable to the point to where I wanted to quit, to play something more comfortable, to leave Silent Hill and go home. But you can't simply leave Silent Hill. One of the common themes of this game is the inability for different characters to leave. Everyone has their own reasons why, but each person is compelled to stay. But at the beginning of the game, the reason why people have to stay is sort of confusing. And I think James is a perfect example of this. He knows that his wife is dead. She's been dead for years, but he can't stop searching for her. Something compels him on. In a similar way, I found myself unable to stop playing this game, even though it was so deeply uncomfortable. It was like the game had cast a spell on me. The truth is that the mystery of Silent Hill took me captive. I had to know more about these characters. I had to know what was wrong with this town. And I had to know why James was so convinced he could find his wife. And when these questions are finally answered, it changes everything. Silent Hill 2 has one of the most captivating stories that I've ever experienced. It utilizes tight pacing with deep character development throughout the entire story, along with an ending to hook you through the entire ride. And when you find out at the end why James is in Silent Hill, it's one of the greatest moments of storytelling I have ever experienced. And the story is incredibly clever with the way that it's delivered. It relies heavily on symbolism, and you really see it everywhere. For example, Maria seems to represent James' selfishness in relationships, caring only about what he can get without thinking of the needs of others. Another example would be enemy design, with the seductive-looking nurses and the legs stacked on top of each other being intentional design choices. These enemy designs represent the lack of a romantic relationship James has had ever since his wife has been sick. The intentionality of every design choice in this game is relentless. But this game is more than just a good story. Most works of art, including video games, eventually fade into obscurity, but some endure. I think for a piece of art to truly become a timeless piece of history, it must do two things. It must be unique, and it must captivate deep emotion within the audience. Most video games separate the video from the game, but we see Silent Hill fuse them. We see many games attempt to perfect a gameplay loop while completely neglecting a story, while other games will have little to no gameplay, with stories being told in a similar way to what you would see in film. And a lot of times, one of these things is at the expense of the other. However, in Silent Hill 2, the gameplay and the story perfectly complement each other, where you can't remove one from the other without diminishing the entire product as a whole. The clunky combat isn't a flaw, it's a feature, and it reinforces your vulnerability. Poor lighting fuels anxiety. These design choices were made to make you feel like you're there with James in a way that a simple movie could not do. In similar fashion, the story, the music, and the overall atmosphere in general are the thing that really allow this gameplay loop to shine. The video and the game work together to make the total product stronger than the sum of its parts. But excellence in arts requires more than just creativity. It must also be compelling. The truth is, I've lived a good life. I've not had to deal with the trauma and the hurt that many other people in the world have experienced. And I think this game might have given me a glimpse into what it might be like to deal with significant trauma. Silent Hill is not just a spooky place. The town calls individuals who have experienced deep trauma, either sins of their own or sins of others. The feeling of hopelessness, the lack of ability to escape, the feeling of freedom after coming to acceptance with the past. This game expanded my perspective on what that might look like. Playing through the Silent Hill 2 remake was not fun. There are much more enjoyable games that I have played. But I don't think any other video game has ever challenged my perspective on something so deeply. Truthfully, playing through this game was one of the most memorable gaming moments in my life, and I will never forget it. Even if you already know the storyline, or if you've played the original Silent Hill 2, I absolutely think that this remake is worth your time. And I can't wait to play and review other games from this franchise. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content and you want to see other videos like this, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, peace!